Bonjour, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Paris, France, my favorite city in Europe. A lot of people are asking, Mark, where's your one place you'd move to just like that? And it's Paris. I love this place. I love it so much. It's shockingly how much I love it, and that's why today I'm making the 10 things that are going to shock you about visiting Paris, because you'll be shocked because this place is awesome. Anyway, let's start with the first shock. The first thing that's going to shock you when you come to Paris is actually the Parisians are actually really nice people. You know, with all the history and all the stuff you hear online and all the stuff you hear about, oh, how horrible the French people are and how horrible the Parisians are and how unfriendly they are. That is the farthest thing from the truth. The people here in Paris are awesome. We've been on the subways and we've gotten, trams caught in the doorways, and people are like, oh, let's help you. We get lost. People give us directions. We go into little stores and people will be like, hey, where are you going? Where are you seeing? And people are so friendly here. The Parisians, the real people, are fantastic, which is weird because the second thing that's going to shock you is what jerks Parisians are when it comes to service. I don't know what happens when they go from their daytime life and they take off their I am a nice Parisian and they put on their work clothes. But something happens when the Parisians get into the service industry, and especially the waiters and the bartenders and stuff like that, is they lose their decorum. Because I can't tell how many times we've gotten this death look. What, you want to spend money here? Ugh. And oh, you wanted your l'addition, your bill, whatever. It's like they're looking at you, but they're not seeing you. Or they've got the really good one. You know, the waiters that can look around a room and somehow totally avoid your eye contact. And that's the thing that shocks you, is the people are so nice at number one, but how jerks they can be when it comes to service in terms of the wait staff and things like that. So to avoid this kind of mistakes, I do recommend using a little French. The s'il vous plaît and the mercis go a long way. S'il vous plaît is please, merci is thank you, and bonjour is hello, and au revoir is goodbye. A little bit of French goes a long way to kind of soften some of those edges, but just know the people are super nice, but when it comes to the service, sometimes it's not so much that way. Of course, there are some good service people here, don't get me wrong, but in general, the reason why France, and in Paris especially, gets this kind of bad rep for unfriendly and unhelpfulness is because of Paris servers. You go outside of Paris, the servers are great, people are friendly, and in Paris, the people are friendly, just for some reason. In service, I don't know what happens to them, okay? Now, the third thing that's going to shock you when you come here is smoking for breakfast? No, I want to smoke before breakfast. I want to smoke after breakfast. I want to smoke while I work. You'll be shocked how many people you see smoking when you are here in Paris. When you get up in the morning, you go to the bakery to get your baguettes and your croissants and your pain au chocolat and all the great food that you can have for every meal here. You'll see there'll be people with their coffees, smoking a cigarette to start their morning. You're like, dude, you haven't showered or changed clothes yet. Cafe, cigarette, I will be fine. And that's the thing is, if you're coming from the US and even other parts of Europe, you'll be surprised how much people in Paris still do smoke, and it will be all over the place. And there's no point in complaining about it. It's just the way it is. Now, the fourth thing that'll shock you is Paris is such a beautiful city, and there's tons and tons of beautiful sights. So you're walking all around, and you're looking around as you walk, and you're like, Eiffel Tower's over there, and the Louvre's over there, and the park here, and you'll be like, splat. Oh no, I stepped in dog poop. You'll be shocked how much dog poop is actually on the streets. Now, they've done a better job of cleaning it up, but I do recommend every so often when you're walking and gawking at all the great architecture and the fantastic food and the beautiful people and the cool style and the crazy hair that people don't actually seem like they brush their hair today, make sure you do glance down to watch out for the doggy doo-doo, because you will see that you'll be shocked of how much doggy doo-doo you will see around here. So do pay attention. And if you do bring your dog, do bring some bags to pick it up, because ew, gross. Now, the fifth thing that's going to shock you about coming to Paris is the amount of really great, amazing sights to see here that you've heard of, but also the sights you have not heard of here in Paris. Because yes, you know to go see the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and walk the Champs-Élysées, and when you go in the Louvre, yes, you're going to see the Mona Lisa and you're going to see Winged Victory, and you're going to see Venus de Milo and these things, but there's things people miss. You can go explore the districts, you can see smaller museums. Heck, even in the Louvre, you'll be in the most busiest room in the Louvre looking at that Mona Lisa, and a lot of people forget to turn around and see the Marriage at Cana, one of the biggest painting in the Louvre, one of a masterpiece there that you can go and check out. People see these things because there's so many great sites you know about and so many great sites you don't know about. So make sure you do your research to figure out, okay, maybe I should check out the catacombs this time, or maybe I should go explore Montmartre and Sacré-Cœur in that area to find some of the little artists and galleries up there. There's so many sites you do know and so many sites you don't know yet that makes for a great long, you can stay here for a week or 3 days or a year or 10 years and you're still going to be finding new stuff, and that's what's so cool. And that leads us into the sixth thing that's going to shock you is with all these museums and great things to see and do here, you actually don't have to spend a lot of money to really enjoy Paris, because you can literally walk around. You can walk and take in the architecture of the Louvre. You can go and see the Eiffel Tower from outside and walk the Champs-Élysées and take in the architecture and sit at a cafe and have a coffee and a croissant and watch the world go by, and you could really enjoy Paris without busting the bank. The hotels here, look, the prices here are the same as other places, maybe a little bit higher for a smaller room, but you can get out and explore Paris and just enjoy it, because you're not going to stay in your hotel room anyway, and you can get out and see it and just wander and take it all in for free. I mean, or for very little money. And a lot of places might have discount days and discount, free days and stuff like that, which you can really take care of and have a great time with at a very low cost. And that's what's cool. And that's what shocks a lot of people. They think, I gotta spend a lot of money when I'm in Paris. No, you don't. There's some deals. Book tickets early, do groups and stuff like that may even get you a discount. You can find out those things. It is shocking how you can really enjoy the city and not spend a lot of money. Now, remember how I told you about that small hotel room? Well, that's the seventh thing that's gonna shock when you come here is, look, the hotels you're gonna have here in Paris are small. But the thing is, you'll be okay with that because you'll spend a little bit higher than average price on those hotel rooms, and there'll be small hotel rooms, maybe with a bathroom down the hallway or a small shower that I can barely fit into or things like that. But you know what? You're not gonna care because you're gonna love this place so much. But just don't be surprised if you aren't shocked at how tiny your hotel room is. So if you're gonna be coming with 3 adults, make sure you do get that triple, because it's not like you get 2 big beds kind of stuff. You get 2 little singles smushed together maybe and things like that. So be ready for those small, dainty hotel rooms, okay? Now, the 8th thing that's going to shock you about coming to Paris is how huge the city is, but how you can really feel like you have your own neighborhood when you are here. I know for my family, we've kind of adopted Montmartre up by Sacré-Cœur. It's kind of like our part of town because we always stay up there, whether it's in apartments or hotels. And what's cool is you have all these tourists that come here and you have all these kind of tourist sites, but you can really be kind of like in another town inside of Paris when you go to the different neighborhoods. If you go to the Latin Quarter, if you go to Montmartre or other parts, you can really feel like you're in a different kind of place than where all the tourists are. And that's one of the cool things about Paris. It's not just the historic center and that's it. It is a living, breathing city that you can really enjoy, and you can really feel like it's your home when you do come here, because there are all these different sections that you can kind of find one that you identify with and really stay there and really enjoy. And that's a really cool thing, is that yes, it's so huge, but you can really have that at-home feel when you are here with all the great different neighborhoods that are out there. So make sure you do explore more than just the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower. Get out there and explore other districts and really take it all in, because it is such a fantastic city. And the 9th thing that'll shock you, kind of makes it easy to go and explore those things, is you're gonna see there's a metro stop literally every 500 meters. No matter where you go in the city, there's gonna be public transport, which for a tourist is a godsend. You don't have to take the taxis and fight the traffic and all these kind of things. You can hop on the metro, go around town. It's really easy to do. They got these simple tickets, buy a carnet, buy 10 tickets, you can buy day passes, but keep your tickets with you because you might need it to get out again in some parts and some stops. Some you don't, some you do, but just keep them with you just to be safe. But the metro really goes everywhere. You can go anywhere. You can take the metro or the RER to get to the Eiffel Tower or Place de Concorde or Sacré-Cœur or wherever. There's so much great public transport here, and it is shocking how close and how easy it is to get to. But you also will be shocked as how many steps you'll have to walk up and down on some of the stops. So just be prepared for that, okay? So if you got knee or hip problems and stuff like that, bursitis and stuff, make sure you're looking for stops that have the elevators and things like that, because you could end up at Abyss, you could end up going 115 steps up if you don't see that elevator. So be heads up on that one. The 10th thing that's going to shock you when you come to Paris is you're going to see a lot of beggars on the street with kids, especially if you're going to be out in some of these other districts where you see a lot of tourists going. And the thing is, the French will say, look, they're not French, they're from other places, they're gypsies, or they're Roma, and that does shock a lot of tourists when they come here, because they hear about this égalitaire, socialist, everybody needs to be helped out France with high taxes, but you will see people begging on the street, and you will see them with your kids, and you will see, beggars, when you come out of the metro stops and when you're on the trains and stuff like that. They do say, the government does say, don't give them money, don't give them money. That's up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do it or not do it. Just know that the government says don't do these things. And then the 11th thing that's going to shock you when you are here are the insane number of tourists that do come here. Look, this is Paris, right? And Paris is the most visited city in the world for a reason, because it's gorgeous, the food is fantastic, the people are actually cool, aside from the service thing. And so many people come here that there's no really low season. There's high season, and then there's, oh my God, high season. That's kind of how it is. And so when you go to places like the Louvre, or you go out to Versailles, in the Palace of Versailles, be ready for tour groups coming through, and tour guides pushing people around, and tourists taking up spots and waiting in line to eat and things like that. That can be really kind of a frustrating thing for a tourist when they are here, because there's so much to see and do that everybody wants to see and do it, so you will be dealing with those hordes of things. Oh, another thing is with that waiting in line to get restaurants and stuff like that, know that a lot of restaurants, except for the tourist areas, they will not probably serve dinner until after 7 o'clock at night. So if you're hungry, if you get hungry between like 3 and 7, sometimes it's hard to find restaurants that are going to be open that aren't like quick lunches and stuff like that. You can find things quick as like their version of McDonald's. Yes, there are McDonald's. You can get quiches and baguettes and stuff like that throughout the day to kind of tide yourself over, or the croque, which is like their ham and cheese pastry sandwich kind of thing. There are things out there, but anything. You think they'd be open more often with all these tourists, but they're not. Anyway, those are 11 things that I think might shock you when you come to Paris. It is a great place. I guess I could say another thing is I'm actually standing next to a park that I can't actually go into. So you might be the 12th shock, might be the fact that you have all these parks that you can't actually go onto, which is kind of a troubling thing. Anyway, I hope that helped you know a little bit more about Paris, and hope you weren't too shocked. I know these are more fun shock kind of things, but we love Paris. It's a great place. You definitely should come here if you get a chance to go. It is well worth it. If you want to learn more, 10 things that'll shock you about France, 5 things you'll love and hate about visiting Paris, what to eat here in France, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know, all the main sites. And if you have any questions or comments, please put it in the comment section below. We like to hear from our fans and our trolls and everybody else. So, au revoir from Paris, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye from Paris.